Today we are talking about something that most women feel, but very few can put into words. That slow, quiet disappearance that happens inside a marriage. Not all at once, not dramatically, but slowly. One small moment at a time, until one day you look in the mirror and you do not recognize the woman looking back. If that sounds familiar, stay with me, because today I am going to walk you through 7 signs that you have disappeared in your marriage. And more importantly, I want you to know, disappearing is not the end of your story. It is actually the beginning of a very important one. You stop sharing how you really feel. And I do not mean the surface feelings, I mean the real ones, the ones that come up at 2 a.m. when the house is quiet and your guard is finally down. You used to share those feelings, maybe not perfectly, but you tried. But somewhere along the way, the grade, something happened. Maybe he dismissed what you said. Maybe he got defensive. Maybe he went silent, and that silence felt worse than the original pain. So you learned. You learned that sharing your feelings led to more pain, not less. So you stopped. You started saying, I am fine, when you were not fine. You started answering nothing is wrong when everything was wrong. You started performing okays timidly while quietly falling apart inside. If you recognize this main, that is sign number 1 that you have been disappearing. Because a woman who cannot share her real feelings in her marriage crying is a woman who has made herself invisible just to survive. You celebrate your own wins, quietly and alone. Think about the last time something good happened to you. Maybe you got a promotion. Maybe you achieved something you worked hard for. Maybe you had a breakthrough moment that meant everything to you. What did you do? Did you share it with your partner with excitement? Or did you already know before you even opened your mouth that the response would not match your excitement? So you just did not share it. Or you shared it quietly, carefully, with low expectation. And when his response was flat or distracted or completely absent, you smiled, said it was fine, and celebrated alone. That is disappearing lovely. Because a woman who has stopped sharing her joys with her partner is a woman who has learned that her happiness is not welcome in her own marriage. And that is one of the loneliest feelings in the world. And this one is the one that most women are afraid to admit. You feel lonelier inside your marriage than you think you would feel were actually alone. Let that sink in for a moment, because that is a profound kind of loneliness. It is not the loneliness of an empty house. It is the loneliness of a full house trainee with the wrong kind of silence inside it. You are surrounded by your partner, maybe your children, maybe even a full social life, and still at the end of every day, you feel completely alone. Because emotional loneliness is not about physical proximity. It is about connection. And when that connection is missing, when you feel unseen, unheard, and emotionally unknown by the person who is supposed to know you best, the loneliness is unlike anything else.
If this is your reality, you have not just been disappearing, you have been grieving.
Grieving the connection you had, or the connection you always hoped for while still inside the marriage. And that grief is real, and it deserves to be honored. You stopped asking for what you need, not because your needs disappeared, but because asking for them became more painful than going without. Think about it. Maybe you needed to feel appreciated. And when you expressed that need, something happened that made you regret it. Maybe he made you feel needy. Maybe he turned it into an argument. Maybe he simply did not respond in a way that made you feel heard. So your brain learned asking leads to pain. So you stopped asking, and you started a dangerous pattern of convincing yourself you did not need what you needed. Telling yourself, other women have it worse. I should be grateful I am being too sensitive. Minimizing your own needs to avoid the pain of having them dismissed. And you deserve more than just surviving in your own marriage. You cannot remember the last time your partner asked how you were really doing. Not a passing, how was your day? I mean a real question, where he put everything down, looked at you, and genuinely wanted to know. How are you? Not the surface version, the real version. Can you remember that moment? For many of the women I work with, they cannot. And what is even more painful is that they stopped expecting it. They adjusted to a marriage where their inner world was not a topic of conversation, where his day was discussed, his stress was acknowledged, his needs were considered, but hers were assumed to be fine because she never said otherwise. And she never said otherwise because of sign number 1. She had already stopped sharing. Do you see how this cycle works? Each sign feeds into the next, and each disappearance leads to deeper disappearance until she is completely gone, still physically present, but emotionally absent from her own life. You have become the household manager, not the woman he fell in love with. Your relationship has a job description now. You manage the schedules, you remember the appointments, you organize the home, you track the children's needs, you manage the finances, you anticipate everyone's requirements. You are essential, you are capable, you are irreplaceable, but you are not seen as a woman anymore. You are seen as a function. And somewhere inside you there is a woman who remembers being more than a function, who remembers being desired, pursued, cherished, seen, who remembers having conversations that had nothing to do with logistics, who remembers being asked not what needs to be done, but how she was feeling, what she was thinking, what she was dreaming about. That woman is not gone. She is just buried underneath the weight of everything she manages, and she is ready to come back. And this one breaks my heart every single time. You have stopped imagining a different life, not because you are content, but because hoping and then being disappointed hurts more than just accepting. So you lowered your expectations, you adjusted your dreams, you convinced yourself that, this is just how marriage is, and you stopped imagining what it would feel like to feel truly seen, truly heard, truly cherished, because imagining it and not having it is a pain you cannot afford anymore. If that is where you are, I want to say something to you directly. You did not lower your expectations because you became realistic. You lowered them because you were protecting yourself from hope. And hope, Ketchum, is not something you should ever have to protect yourself from. Hope is what brought you to this video today. Hope is what keeps you searching. Hope is what whispers, there has to be more than this. And lovely, there is. There absolutely is. So there you have it, 7 signs that you have disappeared in your marriage. And if you recognized yourself in one or all 7, I want you to hear this clearly. You are not broken. You are not failing. You are not asking for too much. That you are a woman who has been carrying an invisible weight for a very long time. And the fact that you are here watching this, searching for something, tells me something important about you. You have not given up. Even when everything felt hopeless, you kept hoping, you kept reaching for something better. That is not a woman who has disappeared forever. That is a woman who is ready to come back. And I want to help you do that. Here is how you can take your next step. If you are ready to understand why you feel this way, my ebook, All a Woman Needs, is the perfect first step, a gentle guide for women returning to themselves. Link in the description below. If you want a safe, private community, All a Woman Needs is the perfect first step, a gentle guide for women returning to themselves. Link in the description below. If you want a safe, private community, and if you are ready to do the deeper work, to rebuild yourself from the inside out, book a free 30-minute discovery call with me. Just you and me. No pressure, no judgment, just finally being heard. Link in the description.